Fans are still reeling from the whispers that have set the internet ablaze, and the shockwave is too loud to ignore. When it comes to love and hip-hop, scandals are nothing new. But this time, the drama has taken a turn so dark that even the most seasoned viewers are left gasping. The names at the center of it all are none other than Kirk and Rasheeda Frost's children, who have suddenly found themselves dragged into shocking allegations that no one ever expected. The moment the story hit the blogs, timelines lit up with disbelief, confusion, and anger. Could the seemingly close-knit Frost family really be tied to something so grim? The accusations point to a tragedy involving Atlanta rapper T. Hood, and the sisters of the slain artist wasted no time in going public, directly naming the Frost kids as the ones responsible. The clip of their tearful, furious statements has spread like wildfire, leaving fans questioning what's real, what's rumor, and what this means for the Frost legacy. Imagine the pressure of being in a family already haunted by Kirk's past scandals, only to now face a storm that could destroy everything. The stage is set for a dramatic unraveling, and the world is watching. Atlanta streets are buzzing, and the blogs refuse to let this story die down. The Frost family, long considered reality TV royalty, suddenly finds itself drowning in a sea of accusations that no one saw coming. Kirk and Rasheeda fought for years to rebuild their reputation after scandal nearly tore them apart. But just when fans thought they were finally on solid ground, a storm far darker than cheating rumors or marital drama has arrived. This time, it is not Kirk or Rasheeda themselves who are under fire, but their children, who have been pulled into a whirlpool of suspicion following the tragic death of rapper T. Hood. The whispers started small, a few cryptic posts on social media from people close to the late artist. But in a matter of hours, those whispers turned into headlines screaming across every gossip blog. The sisters of T. Hood went live, their voices shaking with fury as they claimed the Frost kids had blood on their hands. In their version of events, an argument spiraled out of control. Tempers flared, and the night ended in gunfire that cost their brother his life. The internet did what it always does, taking sides instantly. Fans of love and hip-hop, already conditioned to expect chaos from the Frost household, poured into the comments with shock and disbelief. Some insisted the sisters were just lashing out in grief, desperate for someone to blame. Others pointed to Kirk's troubled history and argued that the Frost name had always been entangled in mess, so maybe this was not as far-fetched as it seemed. Rasheeda, usually calm and collected on social media, stayed silent in those early hours, which only fueled the speculation. Silence to many felt like guilt, and the longer the Frost family refused to address the claims, the louder the chatter grew. Behind closed doors, the tension was unbearable. Kirk paced the living room, scrolling endlessly through comments that accused his children of being killers. "How did it get to this?" he muttered under his breath, unable to hide the panic in his voice. Rasheeda, sitting across from him, buried her face in her hands. "We've been through scandals, we've been through lies, but this is different, Kirk. This isn't just gossip, this is serious. Their children, already dealing with the pressure of growing up in the public eye, were now staring down allegations that could forever stain their lives." The sisters of T. Hood were relentless. They named names, they painted vivid pictures of what they claimed had happened, and they repeated their accusations with conviction. "He didn't deserve this," one sister cried in a video that quickly went viral. "And we know who did it. We're not afraid to say it. The Frost kids think they're untouchable because of who their parents are, but we won't rest until the truth comes out." That single clip, replayed and shared thousands of times, lit a fire under the entire hip-hop community. Bloggers dissected every word, fans demanded answers, and former castmates chimed in with their own cryptic reactions. Carly Red, never one to stay quiet when drama unfolds, posted a thinly veiled message on Instagram. "The truth always comes out no matter how long it takes," she wrote, adding a string of eye emojis. Fans immediately connected the dots, assuming she was referring to the Frost scandal. Meanwhile, Bambi, still riding the wave of attention from her diss track aimed at Kirk, dropped a late-night tweet that read, "Karma doesn't miss." Within minutes, her mentions exploded as people debated whether she was shading the Frost family during their darkest hour. As the accusations spread, the Frost children themselves were caught in the crossfire. Kelsey Frost, who had been quietly building her music career, suddenly found her name plastered across headlines. In a rare outburst on social media, she denied everything, her words filled with anger and grief. "This is sick," she wrote. "To even suggest that I could be part of something like this is disgusting. I loved him. I lost someone too. Stop dragging my family through lies." Her statement drew sympathy from some, but for others it raised even more questions. If she truly had nothing to do with it, why was she so defensive? Was this just grief speaking, or was she trying to cover up a deeper truth? The Frost household turned into a fortress, with family members refusing to answer calls from the press. Neighbors reported seeing Kirk storming in and out of the driveway, visibly shaken, while Rasheeda tried to keep her composure for the sake of their younger children. Inside, the arguments were endless. Kirk, furious at the damage to their reputation, snapped at his daughter. "Do you see what they're saying about us? Do you see what they're doing to our family?" Kelsey shouted back through tears, "You think I wanted this? You think I asked for my name to be dragged through the mud? I didn't do anything, Dad." The walls of their Atlanta mansion echoed with raised voices, each family member struggling to process the magnitude of the storm they were in. Outside of their home, the court of public opinion was already holding trial. YouTube commentators uploaded hour-long breakdowns of the timeline. TikTokers reenacted the alleged fight in dramatized skits, and Twitter threads went viral, analyzing every detail of the Frost family's past scandals as if they were pieces of evidence in this new case. It didn't matter that nothing had been proven yet, because in the world of reality TV and online gossip, perception was everything. And right now, the perception was that the Frost kids were hiding something. In the midst of the chaos, Rasheeda reached out to her closest friend from the cast, confiding in hushed tones. "This is breaking me," she admitted, tears in her eyes. "I've defended my family through every rumor, every scandal. But how do I fight this? How do I protect my kids when the world already believes they're guilty?" Her friend tried to comfort her, reminding her that fans are fickle and stories fade. But Rasheeda knew this wasn't the same as a cheating rumor or a rap beef. This was life or death, freedom or prison, and the weight of it pressed down on her like never before. Still, amid all the heartbreak and confusion, there was one undeniable truth. The Frost family was once again the center of attention. For a franchise built on drama, betrayal, and scandal, this was the kind of story that producers could never script, yet it had unfolded in real life. Fans were glued to their screens, waiting for the next development, the next twist, the next explosive reveal. And deep down, everyone knew this saga was only just beginning. The scandal surrounding the Frost family showed no signs of slowing down, and by the following week, the rumors had become the top conversation in Atlanta's entertainment circles. Every club promoter, every local radio host, and every gossip blogger had an opinion, and none of them were kind. Whispers turned into wild theories, with fans piecing together fragments of information to create full-blown conspiracies. One popular thread claimed that Kelsey Frost had gotten into an argument with T. Hood the night of his death, an argument that escalated so quickly she had called her brothers for backup. Screenshots surfaced, allegedly of messages exchanged between friends of friends, fueling the fire with claims that someone had overheard shouting, then gunshots. Whether the screenshots were real or fabricated didn't matter. People believed them, and the damage was done. Rasheeda, known for her calm demeanor even in the worst of times, felt herself unraveling. Late at night, after the kids had gone to bed, she sat in her living room staring at her phone. News outlets had picked up the story, running headlines like "Frost kids tied to rapper's tragic death" and "Love and hip-hop stars in the middle of murder mystery." Her hands shook as she scrolled through endless comments filled with disbelief, anger, and condemnation. "How did we get here?" she whispered to herself, tears welling in her eyes. Kirk, who had always been defiant in the face of criticism, looked at her with a rare vulnerability. "Baby, we've been through hell before, but this ain't no TV drama. This could ruin us. This could ruin us." Their conversations at home became heated. Kirk was convinced someone from outside the family was out to destroy them. "This is a setup," he declared, pacing the floor. "People been waiting for years to see us fall, and now they're using our kids to do it." Rasheeda, exhausted and broken, snapped back. "You think saying it's a setup makes it go away? The world believes it already, Kirk. They don't care if it's true or not." Their children listened from the hallway, faces pale, hearts heavy, realizing just how much weight these accusations carried. Meanwhile, social media influencers seized the moment to boost their own clout. Live streams popped up every night dissecting the Frost family's past. Fans revisited old clips from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, pointing to moments when Kirk was caught cheating, or when Rasheeda was accused of enabling his behavior. "If he could betray his wife like that, imagine what his kids are capable of," one commentator said, his words dripping with drama. Another chimed in, "This family has been shady for years." Maybe this is just the final straw. Even though these statements had no evidence, they were shared thousands of times, embedding themselves into the narrative. The sisters of T. Hood didn't back down. In another emotional video, they stood side by side holding up a picture of their late brother. "He deserves justice," one said through tears. "We know who's responsible, And we won't stop until everyone else knows too. The Frost kids can't hide behind their parents forever. Their pain was raw, their conviction unshakable, and fans couldn't look away. Each new statement they made added fuel to an already raging fire, and the Frost name became synonymous with scandal once again. Inside the Frost mansion, emotions boiled over. Kelsey slammed her bedroom door after another fight with her father. "You think I did this, don't you?" she shouted from behind the door. Kirk froze, stunned into silence. He wanted to deny it, to tell her he believed her, but the weight of public perception was eating away at his confidence. Rasheeda rushed to comfort her daughter, placing her hand on the door and speaking softly. "Baby, no matter what they say, I know your heart." "I know who you are," Kelsey sobbed on the other side, the sound cutting through the house like a knife, as if the family didn't have enough to deal with. Their fellow cast members began to capitalize on the chaos. Spice, who had her own history of clashing with the Frosts, posted a cryptic message on Instagram. "The tables always turn. Just wait." Her fans flooded the comments, interpreting it as a jab at Kirk and Rasheeda's current misery. Carly Red, never missing a chance to stir the pot, appeared on an online talk show and slyly hinted that she wasn't surprised by the allegations. "When you live in chaos, chaos follows you," she said, raising her eyebrows knowingly. Bambi, still relishing the attention from her diss track, couldn't resist taking another shot. She went live on Instagram, her tone dripping with mockery. "So now the Frosts want to play victim? Please, everybody knew this day was coming. You can only fake perfection for so long before the truth comes out." Fans in the comments egged her on, throwing virtual gasoline onto the fire, while others accused her of being heartless. Either way, the attention was hers and she basked in it. Rasheeda felt betrayed by the very people she once considered her friends. She confided in a close confidant. "I've stood by these women, I've defended them, and now they're dancing on my pain. It's like they're waiting for me to break." Her confidant tried to assure her that the truth would eventually come to light, but Rasheeda couldn't shake the sinking feeling that their reputations would never recover. The Frost kids, once relatively shielded from the harshest aspects of fame, now found themselves living under a microscope. Paparazzi staked out their schools, snapping photos of them walking into classrooms with tired eyes and hunched shoulders. Gossip blogs published clickbait headlines daily, dragging their names further into the mud. The youngest Frost children, too young to fully understand, asked their mother why people on the internet were calling their family murderers. Rasheeda broke down, unable to find words to explain. Behind the scenes, producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta debated how much of this scandal to show on camera. Some argued it was too serious, too real, to turn into entertainment. Others insisted the show thrived on drama, and this was the kind of storyline that would draw record-breaking ratings. In hushed meetings, they strategized how to approach the situation, all while the Frost family tried desperately to hold themselves together. Late one night, Kirk sat alone in the kitchen, staring into the darkness. His phone buzzed with another notification, another headline dragging his family's name. He clenched his fists, the weight of years of mistakes pressing down on him. "I tried to fix it," he muttered. "I tried to give us a fresh start, and now, this." His voice cracked, a rare moment of vulnerability for the man who had always tried to project strength. Rasheeda walked in quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We'll get through it," she whispered, though her eyes betrayed the fear she carried inside. Still, outside their walls, the storm only grew stronger. Fan forums exploded with speculation. Hashtags calling for justice trended daily, and every time the Sisters of T Hood spoke, the internet listened. The Frost family's silence, once meant to protect, now looked like avoidance, and the world began to demand answers. The pressure cooker surrounding the Frost family was reaching a breaking point, and every hour brought new twists that no one could have scripted. The Sisters of T Hood organized a candlelight vigil in Atlanta, inviting fans, friends, and fellow artists to mourn the loss of their brother. What started as a heartfelt memorial quickly turned into a rally against the Frosts, with chants of "Justice for T Hood" echoing through the night air. Live streams captured the raw emotion, and within minutes the footage was shared across every platform. The sight of hundreds of people holding candles, crying, and pointing fingers at the Frost family was a moment that burned itself into the public consciousness. Back at home, Rasheeda watched the vigil in stunned silence. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched a blanket around her shoulders. "They've already decided we're guilty," she whispered, her voice trembling. Kirk, standing by the window, clenched his jaw. They don't know the truth. They don't know what really happened. But they don't care, because it makes a better story to believe we did it. The tension between them was palpable. Their once solid bond now fraying under the weight of the accusations. Kelsey, devastated by the constant attacks online, broke her silence once more with a fiery post. "I'm done being quiet," she wrote. "I've lost someone I loved, and instead of being allowed to grieve, I'm being dragged through lies. If you think I could ever be part of something so evil, you never knew me at all." Her words drew sympathy from some corners, but others accused her of playing the victim. The comment section was a battlefield, with fans arguing back and forth about whether she was sincere or simply trying to save face. In the midst of this chaos, an anonymous source came forward to a popular gossip blog, claiming to have insider knowledge of the night in question. According to this source, tensions between T. Hood and Kelsey had been building for weeks, culminating in a heated argument that escalated beyond control. They were fighting about loyalty, about betrayal, the source alleged. Things got physical, and that's when everything went wrong. Though unverified, the story spread like wildfire, adding another layer of drama to an already tangled web. Producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta smelled opportunity. Behind closed doors, they debated how to incorporate the scandal into upcoming episodes. Some pushed for immediate coverage, arguing that viewers would be glued to their screens. Others worried it would cross a line, turning a real-life tragedy into entertainment. In the end, the decision was made to let the cameras roll, capturing every tense moment as the Frost family struggled to navigate their new reality. "This is history," one producer said. "We can't ignore it." Meanwhile, the Frost castmates used the moment to advance their own narratives. Spice, never one to mince words, went live on Instagram with a bold statement. "People always say I'm the one causing drama, but look who the world is talking about now. It ain't me, it's them." Fans flooded her comments with fire emojis and applause, praising her for seizing the spotlight. Carly Red, ever the instigator, hinted at knowing secrets about the Frosts that had yet to come out, leaving fans hungry for more. Bambi took it a step further by dropping a snippet of a new diss track aimed directly at the Frosts. The lyrics were brutal, referencing both Kirk's cheating past and the current allegations against his children. "You can't hide behind your daddy's name, not when the street's calling you out in shame," she rapped over a hard-hitting beat. The clip went viral within hours, sparking debates about whether she had gone too far. Some fans accused her of exploiting a tragedy, while others applauded her for speaking her truth. Regardless of the backlash, Bambi's name was trending, and the Frost's misery had become her fuel. Inside the Frost household, the walls seemed to close in tighter each day. Kirk lashed out in frustration, slamming his fist against the table. "They're turning our pain into their platform," he growled. Rasheeda, weary and heartbroken, shot back. "And you think yelling's gonna fix it? You think fighting the whole world makes us look innocent?" Their children watched from the sidelines, their trust in the stability of their family slowly eroding. The Frost family's fans, though dwindling, tried to rally in support. Hashtags like "Stand with the Frosts" and "Innocent until proven guilty" popped up, but they were quickly drowned out by the louder chorus demanding justice for T. Hood. Even those who once admired Kirk and Rasheeda found it hard to defend them in the face of such damning public opinion. The couple's businesses, including Rasheeda's boutique, began to suffer. Foot traffic slowed, and online reviews filled with angry comments accusing her of raising killers. Rasheeda tried to put on a brave face for her employees, but behind closed doors, she admitted to Kirk, "This is destroying everything we've built." Adding fuel to the fire, a video surfaced of what appeared to be Kirk arguing with an unidentified man outside a club just days before the tragedy. Though unrelated, fans speculated wildly, suggesting it was proof that violence ran in the Frost family's blood. "Like father, like children," one headline screamed. Kirk, furious at the misrepresentation, tried to set the record straight, but the internet had already made up its mind. The video was shared thousands of times, cementing the narrative that the Frosts were a family of chaos. Rasheeda reached out to Yandy Smith-Harris, a fellow Love and hip-hop star known for her calm demeanor and advocacy. In a private phone call, she broke down. "I don't know how much more of this I can take," she admitted. Yandy, sympathetic but realistic, warned her, "When you live your life in front of cameras, every mistake, every rumor, every tragedy is magnified. You can't hide from it, but you can choose how you respond." Her words offered little comfort, but Rasheeda knew she had to find a way to fight back. As the days passed, the Frost family became more isolated, retreating further into their home. But isolation couldn't protect them from the headlines, the gossip, or the relentless speculation. Fans wanted answers. The sisters of T. Hood demanded justice, and the cast of Love and Hip Hop saw opportunity in their pain. The Frosts were trapped in a narrative they couldn't control, their every move scrutinized, their every word dissected. The weight of it all began to fracture their once united front. Kirk retreated into silence, consumed by anger and shame. Rasheeda fought to keep her family from collapsing, but the cracks were too deep. Their children, unfairly thrust into the spotlight, struggled to carry burdens they were never prepared for. And as the world watched, hungry for the next twist in this unfolding drama, one thing became clear: the Frost family's nightmare was far from over. As the scandal stretched into its third week, the Frost family had become a lightning rod for controversy, their every move amplified by the glare of public scrutiny. The Sisters of T Hood continued to speak out, appearing on local radio stations and podcasts, retelling their story with raw emotion. "Our brother didn't deserve this," one sister declared, her voice breaking on air. "We're not going to stop until the people responsible are held accountable, no matter who their parents are." Listeners flooded the station's phone lines, voicing support for the grieving family, while others speculated wildly about what the Frosts might be hiding. The narrative had taken on a life of its own, with each retelling sharpening the blade pointed directly at Kirk and Rasheeda's children. Meanwhile, Kirk and Rasheeda struggled to navigate the storm that seemed to grow louder each day. Kirk tried to project calm, but the sleepless nights left him hollow-eyed and irritable. "I built my name back up from nothing after every mistake," he muttered in frustration one evening, pacing the length of their living room. "But this is tearing us down faster than I can catch it." Rasheeda, weary from carrying the weight of both her marriage and her family's reputation, whispered back, "Our kids are hurting, Kirk." "They don't care about your name. They care about their lives being torn apart in front of millions of people." The words cut deep, and Kirk sank into a chair, the fight drained from him. Outside their home, the cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta continued to circle the situation like vultures over fresh prey. Spice posted a clip from rehearsal with a pointed caption, "Preparing for my next show while others prepare their excuses." The implication was clear, and her fans cheered her boldness. Bambi, still thriving off the attention from her diss tracks, released a full version of her latest song, this time naming the Frosts directly. "You raise chaos, you reap chaos," she rapped, her voice sharp as glass. The track trended on streaming platforms, sparking a heated debate among fans. Was she crossing the line, or was she simply speaking her truth? Either way, her name was everywhere, and the Frost's misery was feeding her momentum. The Frost kids, meanwhile, bore the brunt of the fallout. Kelsey found herself hounded by paparazzi, their cameras flashing as she stepped out for groceries. "Kelsey, did you do it?" one shouted. "Are you hiding something?" another pressed. Overwhelmed, she broke down in tears on the sidewalk, her sobs captured in photos that were instantly splashed across gossip sites with cruel headlines. Her younger siblings, too, were subjected to whispers and stares at school, their classmates repeating the rumors they'd seen online. "Is it true?" one asked innocently, not realizing the damage the question carried. The Frost family's silence, meant to protect their children from the noise, only seemed to embolden the public's imagination. Fan-made timelines circulated online, complete with arrows, screenshots, and theories connecting unrelated dots. One viral post even claimed to have audio of the night in question, though it was quickly debunked as fake. Still, the fact that people believed it for even a moment showed just how deep the frenzy had gone. The Frosts were no longer just reality stars. They were the subjects of a digital trial, with millions acting as judge, jury, and executioner. Rasheeda decided she could no longer remain silent. In a carefully crafted Instagram Live, she sat alone in her boutique, the racks of clothing behind her a stark reminder of the life she'd built. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "I know y'all have heard the things being said about my family. I know it's ugly, and I know it's painful to even hear, but I need y'all to understand, we are hurting too. My kids are not killers. They are not monsters. They are human beings, and they are grieving the same loss everyone else is." Tears welled in her eyes, and for a moment, the mask of strength she always wore slipped. "Please," she pleaded, "let us breathe. Let us heal." The live drew tens of thousands of viewers. And while some fans praised her vulnerability, others remained unconvinced, their skepticism hardened by weeks of headlines. Kirk, however, took a different approach. Frustrated with the relentless attacks, he confronted a group of paparazzi outside their home. "Y'all feeding off lies," he shouted, pointing directly at the cameras. "You don't care about truth. You don't care about pain. You just want clicks." The video of his outburst quickly went viral, with fans split between sympathy for a father pushed to his limits and criticism of a man who had brought chaos into his family's life for years. the producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta finally weighed in, releasing a teaser for the upcoming season that hinted at the Frost family's turmoil. Dramatic music underscored clips of Rasheeda in tears, Kirk looking distraught, and cast members like Spice and Bambi making pointed remarks. The tagline read, "When the truth comes out, nothing will ever be the same." Fans erupted online, accusing the show of exploiting a real tragedy for ratings, while others admitted they couldn't wait to see how it would unfold on screen. The Frosts, trapped in the machine of reality TV, had no choice but to endure the storyline being played out for millions. As the weeks dragged on, the Frost family's businesses, friendships, and sanity hung by a thread. Rasheeda confided in Yandy once more, admitting, "Sometimes I wish we'd never done the show. Sometimes I wish we could just disappear." Yandy, wise but weary, reminded her, "Once you open the door to the world, you can't close it again. All you can do is survive it." Rasheeda nodded, knowing the truth of her words but wishing desperately for another way out. Through it all, the Sisters of T-Hood stood firm, their grief unrelenting, their accusations unwavering. Fans remained divided, some demanding proof, others convinced the Frosts were guilty regardless of evidence. The chaos had become bigger than any one family, feeding the endless cycle of gossip, speculation, and entertainment. Gossip, speculation, and entertainment. And so the Frost family sat at the center of a storm they couldn't control, their every word dissected, their every action magnified. Kirk stared at his children one evening, his voice heavy with regret. "I wanted to protect you from this world," he said quietly. "But I brought you right into it." Rasheeda, holding back tears, placed her hand on his. "We'll survive this," she whispered, though neither of them truly believed it. The saga showed no signs of slowing down, and with every new twist, the Frost legacy hung in the balance. Fans waited eagerly for the next revelation, the next confrontation, the next tearful confession. The line between reality and entertainment blurred until it vanished altogether, leaving the Frost family trapped in a story that refused to end. A story that had already etched itself into love and hip-hop history. And with all of this unfolding, one thing is certain: the Frost family's story has left fans divided, shaken, and more curious than ever. The accusations may still hang heavy in the air, but the truth remains tangled in a web of grief, anger, and unanswered questions. Was this all just rumor blown out of proportion? Or is there a darker side to the Frost legacy that fans never saw coming? The cast continues to throw shade, the blogs keep spinning their theories, and social media is on fire with opinions, but in the end, only time will reveal what really happened behind the headlines. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the Frost kids are being unfairly targeted? Or do you believe there's more to the story than meets the eye? What do you make of the silence, the tears, and the endless finger-pointing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your voice is what keeps this conversation alive. Don't forget to hit that like button if you've been following every twist in this shocking saga, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss another update on the drama shaking the love and hip-hop universe. Turn on those notifications because, trust me, the next chapter is coming and you won't want to miss a second of it.